Welcome to California Unearthed. I'm here at Shasta Caverns today in Shasta County, and I'm going to go explore the caverns today. I've never been here. I've lived here 30 years. I've never checked out these caverns. I have come with my daughter, and we've done the gem searching here at the caverns, but I've never gone over to the caverns themselves. So I want you to come join me. It is going to be a short boat ride across the McCloud River, and then a 1.5-mile bus ride up the mountain to the mouth of the caverns, and we're going to go check them out. And I want to dedicate this video to my cousin Holton. He wanted me to do a video on a cave or a mine, so this video is for you, Holton. So come join me as we go check out the caverns. So here at Shasta Caverns, they also have a gemstone mining area while you're waiting to go across the lake to the caverns. You can come and buy gemstones or fossils and mine them here in the canal. My daughter Sam and I did this many years ago.
Here's a couple of photos of my daughter Sammy and I searching for gemstones here at Shasta Caverns. This is on her 9th birthday in 2011.
Emeralds are the really dark ones, and then the really light ones are paradox? Paradox, yeah.
Hey Sammy, what are you finding?
Okay.
Cool.
Oh my gosh.
Here's the screens that you use. Flowing water to wash away the sand. Shasta Caverns is now a National Natural Landmark as of 2012. So let's go on down to the gift shop and purchase our tickets.
If you don't feel like sifting through the dirt up above, you can purchase your rocks and gemstones here at the Visitor Center. They have a very good collection for all of you rock hounds that are into this sort of thing. I know my daughter is. They also have plenty of snacks and beverages here while you wait if you want to refresh yourself. They also have the dyed geodes if you're into these. These are pretty cool. But if you're looking for something a little bit bigger, they have that option as well here in the Visitor Center. And check those out. All sorts of cool things to look at while you wait. If you prefer to wait outside, there's also a back patio area. But beware, Yogi and Boo Boo here might steal your snacks.
They have a koi pond here. Let's continue down to the boat.
It's just a short jaunt down to the boat. They say it takes about 5 minutes. I have a feeling it takes a little less than that. You can go either down the ramp here or down the staircase to the boats awaiting down below. But they're beautiful views from up here. As you can see, there's quite a few stairs leading down. But like I said, it'd take you a little less than 5 minutes. But once you get down here, it's pretty open. You can go right into the boats here. This is Elsie. She is the workhorse of Shasta Caverns. Everything that you will see on the other side of the lake, including the bus that we're taking up to the caverns, was brought over by her. She is one of 2 World War II landing crafts here on Shasta Lake. The other one is owned by the U.S. Forest Service. And Shasta Caverns has verified through her serial numbers that she was present at Normandy on D-Day.
We are on the boat going across the McLeod Arm on our way up to the bus that will take us to the caverns. The lake is full and looking absolutely beautiful.
While we're traveling across the McLeod River, let me take this opportunity to let you know what lies beneath us in the depths of the water. Native villages and a number of small mining towns were established on the banks of the Sacramento, McLeod, and Pitt rivers. A small settlement called Barrett, which lies in the general area below this boat, was unlike all the rest. Barrett was the home to the very first U.S. fish hatchery and its employees. In 1872, Livingstone Stone, an authority on fish cultures in the United States, was sent west under the guide of Professor Spencer Fullerton Barrett. Stone was to locate a suitable spot for a fish hatchery producing king salmon eggs. Stone located the spot here on the McLeod River. Livingstone Stone named the fish hatchery Barrett for Professor Spencer Fullerton Barrett, born 1823, passed away in 1887. He was the first United States Commissioner of Fisheries. Stone, with the help of his assistants Myron Green and William T. Perrin, established the fish hatchery beginning in August 1872 with the construction of a house, tin hatchery, tanks, and a flume. Once established, it became the very first fish hatchery in the United States. It also became extremely productive. In 1874, permanent buildings were constructed, and in a report of 1874-1875 of the Commissioners of Fisheries of California, it was written about Barrett. The largest establishment in the world for the hatching of salmon eggs is that of the government of the United States on the McLeod River in Shasta County. From 6 to 10 million of young salmon are hatched each year and distributed. Some of the eggs were shipped to various parts of the United States and the continent. In 1876, a permanent hatchery was built. On April 8, 1878, a fourth-class post office was established at Barrett to serve the community that had grown up around the U.S. fish hatchery of the same name. From November 24, 1879 to December 1882, James A. Richardson was the postmaster. This is the same James A. Richardson who signed his name in what at that time was the Barrett Cave. I'll talk more about him once we get to the caverns. In 1881, there was a flood that ravished the camp, so the hatchery building, boarding house, and stables were all rebuilt on higher ground. The salmon breeding station closed for a short period of time during the 1883-1884 season due to a rapid decline in salmon population because of the construction of the railroad through the Sacramento River Canyon and the devastation caused by the construction and railroad employees. When the Barrett hatchery reopened a couple years later, it supplied eggs to the newly established assistant hatchery. During later years, Barrett Fish Hatchery was primarily a handling station for eggs from Battle Creek and Mill Creek hatcheries, and by 1935, it was closed permanently. In 1941 and 1942, possibly sooner, the Citizen Conservation Corps, CCC, that existed from 1933 to 1942 was known to have occupied the hatchery buildings.
17-year-old Wintu Native American, also a hunter and tracker for the fish hatchery. You'll see their names etched to the side of the cave about halfway through your tour. Off to the right there, you'll see a string of houseboats. That is Holiday Harbor. If you look out to the very far left or south, you will see that bridge that's out there. That is the Veterans of Foreign War Memorial Bridge, locally known as the Pitt River Bridge. It is the tallest of its kind in the world. It is a double-deck span support bridge. It has 4 lanes of I-5 on top, 2 active railroads underneath. So if you came over that railroad today, you probably had a train going underneath it as you went over. It is over 500 feet from the lake bottom to the top. For those that may not really know what poison oak looks like and they're just saying yay, 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 we have 2 examples, one on both sides of the bus. This is a huge bush with a little bunch of bushes next to it. That's all poison oak right there. There's an over 6 foot tall bush on the side over here. On the left hand side, that is also poison oak. The other tree that I absolutely know of here for sure, because my wife will not let me forget it. She gives me an or else every time our spice rack starts getting low, because she loves her spaghetti. We have the California Bay laurel leaf tree right here.
We are in the visitor center overlooking the lake. This is the man-made blasted entrance to the caverns. The natural entrance is up there. As we pass through the door and into the depths of the cavern, you'll notice a couple of different things right off the bat. Number one, it's very dark in here, but no need for a flashlight. The entire caverns are illuminated for easy travel throughout the tour. The other thing is the very pleasant temperature in here. It is a nice cool 58 degrees and remains that year round. As we're walking through the caverns here, I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the caverns themselves, but not so much on the geological formations, just because I'm not a geologist, I'm a historian, so I can't really speak knowledgeably on the caverns' geological formations. The limestone caverns we'll be viewing are about 250 million years old, consisting of 8 rooms, stalagmites, stalactites, and many different geological formations. This is one of 3 known caverns in Shasta County. The caverns were a part of life for the native Wintu people who reside in the area. Although the native Wintu people knew about the cavern and may have explored in and around the area, the first recorded explorers were that of James A. Richardson, a federal fisheries employee, and Charles Morton, a 17-year-old Wintu native hunter and tracker for the fish hatchery. Morton discovered the natural opening while tracking and hunting wildlife for the fish hatchery. As the wildlife were stealing fish from the hatchery, Morton did not have ropes or the experience to descend the cave, so about a year later in 1878, Morton acquired the assistance of James A. Richardson to descend into the depths of the caverns. Their claim of discovery is still clearly legible on the wall that they wrote it that day, November 11th, 1878, with carbide from their miner's lamp. From this point until 1964, it was known as the Baird Cave. The idea of preserving this natural phenomenon first came to Grace M. Tucker, an attorney at Chehalis, Washington. In 1955, she obtained sole ownership of the cavern. In 1959, Mrs. Tucker, along with Roy Thompson and his 2 brothers, formed Lake Shasta Properties, Inc. In 1964, before opening to the public, a new entrance was needed, as the natural opening was a small hole in the ceiling, barely large enough for one person to fit through. Using explosives, workers blasted a tunnel from the rock face deep into the mountain, that being the opening that we walked through today. They were hoping to reach the lowest known room called the basement. However, along the way, a large rock wall was knocked down, revealing the discovery room, perhaps the most fascinating room in the caverns. As a result of this, the basement room is not the lowest room as they thought. So what we're seeing today is about 60% more of what James A. Richardson and Charles Morton discovered in 1878. I found a newspaper article in the Sacramento Bee dated April 12, 1964 that talks about the renaming and opening of Shasta Caverns. Shasta Buried Caves will be open soon is the title, and it reads,
The Shasta Lake Chamber of Commerce announced the buried caves on Lake Shasta will be open to the general public probably around June 1st. At least one new chamber has been discovered in preparation for the opening of the cave, which has been renamed Lake Shasta Caverns. These were also once known as Stoneman Cave because of a skeleton found near the entrance and believed to have been dated back to the Stone Age. Before 1964, Lake Shasta Caverns were seen each year only by a handful of hardy spelunkers who inched their way through the steep, restricted natural fissures to view the awe-inspiring natural wonder that lie beneath. There's a newspaper article in the Sacramento Bee dated January 10th, 1934 that talks about the experience of one group exploring the caverns. It is titled, "Weird Formations Are Found at the End of a Jaunt in Shasta." And the article reads, "An exploring party from Dunsmuir motored to Barrett recently and succeeded in finding the little-known Barrett Caves, located on Horse Mountain, 2¼ miles from a point on the McLeod River opposite the Barrett Fish Hatchery." The members of the party were Frank Bascom Sr., David Bascom, Mitchell Hanavan, and Henry Risky. Unable to cross the river at the hatchery, the car was driven over at the bridge where the Copper City Road enters the highway. From here, it is necessary to follow the south bank of the river on foot for about a mile to where the cave trail begins. White signs and black arrows mark the trail at critical points, making the ascent to the cave simple until the loose shale is reached. Here, many parties are thrown off the track as the trail is partly obstructed by gravel debris and makes a sharp zigzag turn, coursing to the right, around and up a saddleback ridge to the point near the top. The cave's entrance cannot be seen until a clump of manzanita brush has been passed. Rope necessary. 2 lengths of 40-foot rope are necessary to make the descent down the black passages leading to the main room of the caves. The passageway slopes steeply and at one point makes a sheer drop, entering upon a surprisingly large cave room, 100 feet high at one point, equally as wide and 200 feet long, with numerous antechambers and adjoining chambers. Fantastic formations in the shapes of drapes, organ fluting, and archways give a cathedral-like aspect to the big major cave. Connecting tunnels. Connecting tunnels offer possibilities of other rooms. A search reveals one subterranean passage that led into the bowels of the earth for 70 feet and then branched off in various channels. One of these was followed for almost half a mile without coming to an end. One of the side rooms contains a pure spring, the water of which runs into a low-hanging passage, which appears never to have been explored. The oldest autographs found on the walls were those of J. A. Richardson and C.M. 1878. Limestone rock. The surrounding hills, mostly composed of limestone rock, are said to abound in caves. One on Potter Creek some years ago yielded a valuable deposit of animal fossils, now in the possession of the University of California. This cave is no longer open for inspection, as the blasting for the fossils affected the closing of the cave entrance. This article is packed full of amazing historical information about the caverns and the area surrounding the caverns, but the most relevant part of this article is about the tunnels. This just proves that these 4 explorers, and maybe even explorers before 1934, knew that there were other chambers or rooms throughout the caverns, not just what Richardson and Morton had discovered in 1878. Obviously, Mrs. Tucker and the Thompson brothers were not privy to this information prior to blasting and tunneling a new entrance here in 1964 and surprisingly discovering these new rooms that we are seeing today.
We're Davy Jones. We have the massive cave turkey. Here's his head, his body, little turkey. We have Diego, the saber-toothed tiger. His head, his body, his right arm sticking out. He's been stuck in here forever. He's trying to get the cave open. Down in this tunnel, there are 2 small rooms beyond that opening. The first room is called the lake room. No technical butterfly in here for that reason. If you want to touch a giant crystal, you can. Not a lot to hurt, but also not a lot to see. So we're going to keep moving, but we're going to be walking past the names of James A. Richardson and Paul Gordon on the right hand side. We're going to the top, so I can't point out to everyone. Make sure you don't miss
rocks, like stones to step on over?
We gotta come inside to see the ladder.
You guys got it?
Careful. Oh, careful. Your head's right next to it.
Yeah.
See it right there? Into a giant cave.
Ladder going up. Let's see if I can't not hit my head walking out of here.
You can see the ladder coming out of the chimney room over there, along with some other names of early explorers. This room does connect naturally down to the basement through the chimney room, but the ladder itself was installed in the 1940s by Shasta Caverns shop class as a school project. This is the natural entrance of the cave. That's not sunlight, it is an LED, and again, it's like 100 feet past that opening to the outside of the mountain. The natural entrance is 9 feet tall and 6 feet wide. It's gated off to keep out big animals and people, but the openings are big enough for the bats to come in and out. So we do have a colony of about 100 bats in this room. They're called Rhinos. The colony is little brown rat. They usually sleep up here visibly on the ceiling in a big crosshair, and they've been sleeping out of sight for about a week now. So I think they're around the corner here. But for fantasy formations, we have the castle, complete with the drawbridge. This would be the king and queen. This is obviously Darth Vader. We have the cave cupcake. And of course, the jellyfish. All right, we have a couple minutes left. Did anyone else need a photo in here? Yeah. This is the best spot. Sorry.
Sometimes they shut the lights off in this room.
So besides bats, no other animal try to find shelter?
No, I mean, we have salamanders and some bugs. That's it. It's all gated off, so it's not possible for anything bigger to get in. We have had squirrels and ring-tailed cats get in, and birds, but they don't really want money in here. They kind of get in accidentally. Any last-minute questions or photos before we go? Rattlesnakes are a problem right now out there. They like to sunbathe on the steps, so please watch your step. I'm not kidding, no. No. Yeah. Unfortunately, no, I'm not kidding. So I'm going to turn off the lights and follow you guys.
So at the end of the tour, you come out this door here onto the landing I'm standing on, and then go down the 200 and some steps to where we started. But this opening is not the natural opening of the caverns. The natural opening is about 100 feet above us here, and that is where James Richardson and Charles Morton descended into the caverns in 1878. All right, that's it for this episode of California Unearthed. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. I absolutely loved it. It was breathtaking. This camera does not do it justice. You have to come out here and check this out for yourselves. I definitely recommend it. You get a boat ride, a bus ride, and you get to go through the caves. So much fun. It really, really is. So if you enjoyed the video, smash the like button, subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and we'll see you on the next adventure.